In 1590, Spain was the richest empire on earth. It controlled half the world's gold and silver. Its military dominated Europe. Its currency was accepted everywhere. Within 80 years, Spain was bankrupt, a second-rate power that never recovered. In 1914, Britain ruled the largest empire in human history. The sun never set on British territory. The pound sterling was the global reserve currency. Within 40 years, the empire was gone. The currency collapsed. Britain became America's junior partner. In 1991, the Soviet Union was the other global superpower. It possessed nuclear weapons, worldwide influence, and satellites spanning the globe. Within 900 days, it ceased to exist, not from war, but from economic implosion. 3 superpowers, 3 total collapses, all followed the same sequence. And here's the unsettling part. The United States has already completed 5 of the 7 stages. We're not approaching the pattern, we're deep inside it. This is the story of how empires die, why they always believe they're different, and why history suggests we may be next. Imperial collapse does not begin with invasion or military defeat. It begins with economic exhaustion. An empire expands beyond its ability to sustain itself. Too many military bases, too many wars, too many promises, too much debt. At first, decline is invisible. The currency still functions, the military still wins battles, the government still makes promises. But beneath the surface, foundations are cracking, resources are misallocated, productive capacity shrinks, talent leaves, then acceleration begins. Allies hedge, enemies test limits, trade partners seek alternatives. Reserve currency status weakens. The advantages that once created power become vulnerabilities. Currency floods back home. Military commitments become unsustainable. Promises lose credibility. This isn't theory. It happened to Spain, Britain, and the Soviet Union because they made the same choices leaders always make. They believed their power was permanent. They overextended militarily. They debased their currency. And they refused to accept reality until collapse was unavoidable. Spain, the first blueprint. After 1492, Spain became the world's first true global empire. It conquered the Aztec and Inca civilizations and seized the richest gold and silver mines ever discovered. By the mid-1500s, Spanish galleons were bringing hundreds of tons of silver to Europe each year. Spain effectively controlled Europe's money supply. Spanish silver became the global reserve currency. King Philip II, ruling from 1556 to 1598, possessed more wealth than any monarch in history and spent it on empire. Stage 1. Military overextension. Spain fought wars across Europe, the Mediterranean, the Americas, and Asia, often simultaneously. Half of all government revenue went to the military, and it still wasn't enough. Stage 2. Currency debasement. Unable to raise sufficient taxes, the crown diluted its coinage, mixing copper into silver coins. The face value stayed the same, but real value collapsed. Inflation surged as trust disappeared. Stage 3. Debt spiral. Spain borrowed heavily from European bankers. It declared bankruptcy repeatedly, 4 times in 40 years, each time promising reform and returning to the same behavior. Stage 4. Loss of productive capacity. An influx of easy money destroyed domestic production. Spain imported food, ships, and manufactured goods instead of producing them. Nobility avoided work. Innovation stopped. Wealth flowed through Spain but never stayed. Stage 5. Social decay. Crime rose. Beggars filled cities. Productive citizens emigrated. Spain became a nation of bureaucrats, soldiers, and clergy, consumers rather than creators. By the 1600s, Spain was economically hollow. Though its empire lingered on paper, it never recovered its power. Britain, the empire that overextended. At its peak, Britain controlled a quarter of the world's land and population. London was the financial center of the globe. The pound sterling was the world's reserve currency. Stage 1. Military overextension. Britain maintained commitments on every continent. World War I forced a choice. Stay neutral or bankrupt the empire to win. Britain chose war. Stage 2. Currency crisis. After draining its gold reserves, Britain attempted to restore the pound to its pre-war value. The currency became overvalued, exports collapsed, unemployment surged, and the domestic economy suffered. Stage 3. Debt spiral. World War II compounded the damage. Britain emerged victorious but financially ruined, owing more than its entire annual output. Stage 4. Loss of empire. Beginning with India in 1947, Britain rapidly dismantled its empire. Within 2 decades, nearly all colonies were gone. Stage 5. Currency collapse. The pound steadily lost value and global relevance. Britain retained symbols of power but no longer held real dominance. The Soviet Union. Collapse without invasion. After World War II, the USSR rivaled the United States militarily, but beneath the surface, its economy stagnated. Stage 1. Military overextension. The Soviets devoted an enormous share of their economy to military competition while propping up allies around the world. Stage 2, economic stagnation. Central planning crushed innovation. Productivity collapsed. Even agriculture failed, forcing grain imports despite vast farmland. Stage 3, currency failure. The ruble was not trusted internationally or domestically. The USSR relied on gold and oil to buy necessities. Stage 4, loss of empire. Eastern Europe abandoned Soviet control almost overnight. Stage 5, sudden collapse. In December 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved entirely, 900 days from superpower to non-existence. The United States today. The pattern is repeating: military overextension, hundreds of overseas bases, global defense commitments, and mounting strain on personnel and equipment. Currency debasement. Since abandoning gold backing, the dollar has lost most of its purchasing power. Trillions have been created in recent years alone. Debt spiral. National debt exceeds GDP. Interest costs rival defense spending. Borrowing continues even during peacetime growth. Loss of productive capacity. Manufacturing has moved abroad. Imports far more than it exports and depends on foreign supply chains for essentials. Social decay. Trust in institutions is collapsing. Political dysfunction is constant. Crime, addiction, and despair rise while long-term stability erodes. That's 5 stages complete. Stage 6 is the erosion of reserve currency status. Stage 7 is collapse. Not gradual decline, but sudden implosion. Every empire believed it was different. Every one was wrong. History is clear. You cannot spend beyond your means forever, maintain empire without production, or debase currency without consequence.